Hello, everyone, and it's time for Football Fund. It's FPL again. It's been so long, and we've really missed you guys. We've missed shooting this, so we can't wait to get started on today's episode. We're going to do a quick look again, as we always do, on how the last game week went. Just like under a minute on that, and then dive into game week 20 and the weeks thereon. What are we seeing is going to happen? All the chaos that's gone down in double game week, and the aftermath of the injuries to the likes of Kevin De Bruyne and Jamie Vardy. Uh, you know, uh, Annie has had yet another phenomenal game week. He's now the top 2K, the top 2000 is where Annie sits. So, congratulations, Annie, once again. I hope that this run keeps going for you. I was just short of the 100 club mark yet again. That still eludes me, but hey, green arrows, so I'm not complaining. Finally, I think 97 or something is where I went, and I won my cup by 1 point.
Wow.
By 1 point. So anyway, that was what there was. Annie, let's get started. I think with my team, I'm gonna just quickly take you guys through what my changes are going to be. Then Annie's going to take you live through the changes that he's going to make. He's going to do them on the screen now, and then as always, we're going to discuss some of our key picks for the week, maybe a couple of weeks forward as well, and obviously captains and differentials to help you climb those ranks.
Yep. And just before I put up Karn's team, just want to remind everybody that both of us did use our bench boost in the previous game week, which was a very long game week. It's been 9 days since we last put an episode out. We thank you again so much for your messages, guys. Hopefully, this episode satisfies your craving, I guess. So, Karn, let's have your team up right now. Right, Karn? I mean, you can obviously take us through it. It's actually not that difficult, right? KDB, we know, is going to go out. It's only simply because of the fact that there is a game week which starts, that's on the 26th, that it is 26th. The next game week's on the weekend around then. There's another game week midweek after that, and another on the weekend. So that's 4 game weeks in a span of just about 12 days. And KDB is said to be out for at least 4 weeks. So definitely not keeping KDB around. He's already lost more than 10% ownership. So I think get him out quickly before we lose price value on him, right? So what have you thought about?
No, honestly, man, I'm not caring about price value right now. Information is of value. Uh, my thought was, do a straight De Bruyne to Sterling, but man, you never know. Another COVID scare at City, or Sterling suddenly tested positive, or West Brom have another scare, or there's so many things that can go wrong. I'm trying
Yeah.
to delay it as much as I can. I think honestly, value I am not that fussed about. My problem though is that yeah, currently I'm looking just De Bruyne to Sterling, right? Because I think uh, a City attacking asset is still something to have for the next 3 game weeks at least. With the great fixtures they have, they're still in great form, right? Problem though, I need structurally, I think I need more than just one change. I'm almost tempted to wild card. I won't. I'm almost tempted to do a wild card, to do a rash -12 because De Bruyne obviously is one transfer that I need to do. Wilson is not fired for me at all as I had hoped. Dier has been a big disappointment as well. I think in the keeping section, I need to get in Martinez. That side swap from Martinez to McCarthy back then during that blind game week, that has not
That
worked out well at all. It's not that McCarthy's done bad. It's just Martinez has just been on another level, right? So
much better, yeah.
getting that one in, getting back the likes of Taylor perhaps from Burnley in now that he's back.
No, he's actually gone.
Uh,
He again got injured in the last game. He was taken off in the 49th minute. He looks to be
oh yeah, he got
out.
taken off in the
Yeah,
front end. Yeah. So yeah, but bringing in like a Burnley defensive asset, in there, and I am now finally Team Kane and not Son. His numbers week after week are just
took
too good to
you
ignore.
long enough. It took you
Honestly,
19
I mean,
game weeks.
it didn't like it wasn't the end of the world for me, right? I'm
Yeah,
still
of
top one
course.
percent.
Of course, of course.
So it's not been that bad, but now with De Bruyne injured as well, there's finally that room to maybe go lower there. I go the likes of a Maddison and then go up from a Wilson to a Kane, right? I'm not sure if the exact numbers will pan out, but somewhere there, you know what I mean, right? Like making all these
Yeah.
changes structurally, I think are needed in this team. And Not very happy with where I am right now. Hopefully, it doesn't cost me. I'm just hoping Sterling and Fernandez and Cancelo, Stones take me through it. Leeds defense collapses in front of Wilson and Bamford gets a couple as well. Hoping for a few miracles, honestly, right now.
All right, before we move on from your team, it's also like we spoke about this, and we tweeted this out from our Twitter account as well. De Bruyne and Vardy and Aguero would have been a good punt for Vardy right now, right? But the fact that those three aren't available, I think it actually opens up so many avenues you were too scared to look at because you were like, it's too big a differential, right? Now, for
Yeah,
people like you, who managers like you, Karn, who already have Salah, you have the option of going to Sterling. Yes, of course, there's a doubt about COVID, but that's with every player now, with any team coming in and out,
yeah,
right?
that's like in general
Especially,
thing. Yeah,
especially with coming mid-Feb when European football is back, and right after that there'll be another break for international. There's again going to be that same. We're going to find ourselves back in November like we were, right? So, honestly, looking at KDB, definitely the easiest switch looking at the fixtures would be to look at Sterling, right? Some would punt all the way down to Gundogan. Don't know how deep he might end up playing if they end up starting Phil Foden every game, right? So that's my only concern
yeah.
there. But yeah, Maddison and Barnes, our two differential picks last week, both paid dividends for the managers who listened to us. And
Yeah.
definitely both look
We
threatening
didn't listen
enough.
to ourselves as always.
Yeah, the thing was that I told you I was comfortable taking a -8. I reached a -4. Obviously, Johnston didn't really pay off for either of us, but Pereira did for me in the end. But I almost went
Yeah,
Maddison to Son, right? And I didn't end up doing it because I'm like, on the balance of play coming in the next game week, even if Maddison gets me 2 goals, will that -8 to make that move pan out in 3 weeks? Now, the only worry about
yeah,
Maddison Kern is because you mentioned it. How will they perform with Vardy not in front of them? I think they should be okay because they don't have the worst fixtures, you know.
yeah,
So it's still for me on. Those moves are on for KDB if you want to look
100%.
elsewhere from Sterling. That is if you have Salah. I'm going to take you to my team then and see what if you don't have Salah. So, Kern, apart from KDB, what's the other move you're thinking of making before we move on?
Dear, eventually, maybe next week. This week is obviously KDB. I don't want to take a -4 at this point because I think once I do KDB to Sterling, I think it's a strong enough starting 11. And Dallas away to Newcastle, decent one. Like I'm happy with that coming off the bench if needed. DR at home to Liverpool could be a clean sheet as well, potentially. Just like a dirty nil or whatever, right? Won't bode well for my Salah pick, but it just could be one of those games, right? So this week is that one switch, but thereon I think might need to look at -4s here and there.
Okay, let's move on to my team then. Right, Kern, this is what my team looks like as of now, right? We have McCarthy in goal, Cresswell, Stones, Diaz paid dividends. Stones, thank you so much, you legend, you. Diaz has been solid as well. Could have had a goal himself. Now, Dallas, Fernandez, Son, Suchek, Wilson, Bamford, Kane. I'm genuinely tempted to just make a sideways move for De Bruyne. I don't think though I'll be starting the player. I'm very happy with the lineup I have right now. It could really work out very poorly for me, right? Dallas, Bamford, Wilson could be a terrible 1-0 going to Newcastle. Well, could be a Andy Carroll goal for all we know, right? The way Newcastle are looking.
Yeah,
But I think there is something in there in the team I have right now. KDB is on my bench right now. Pereira, my wonderful god from my punt from my blank, is going to be on my bench the way I see it. So, looking at this team right now, I would be definitely captaining either one of Bruno Fernandes or Bamford, but we'll come more to that later. So, who do I now get in for the likes of KDB? So, we've spoken about Kern's transfers, right? So, we thought we'd try this a little differently. KDB right now has an ownership of 20.1%. I'm quite sure that means by the time this episode is out, his price would have probably dropped to 11.8. He's at 11.9 right now. So, when you take out KDB right now, for example, you do have the option of, let's say, going for a Sterling. Okay, that's what he spoke about. Straight swap, triple city
yeah,
threat. West Brom could pose an upset, but looking at the fixtures they have after that, Burnley, Sheffield, till they don't play Liverpool, Tottenham, and Arsenal, right? I think those 3 games you can focus and still get the max out of your City defense. If not, just at least getting in the likes of Raheem Sterling or Gundogan. Sterling has a price rise, by the way, to 11.5. So let's say you do that, you do Sterling. This is what a team would look like. This is what my team would look like, right? In that case, Sterling obviously will be starting for me because I'm not putting 11.5 player on the bench.
Yeah,
And I'd probably have a look at keeping one of my defenders out. Maybe keep Dallas out of the team, let Cresswell play against Palace is what
yeah,
I'd look at. Let's say we don't do that. Okay, now let's focus on Jack Grealish. 7.7 money in the bank. And why we're doing this live maybe with my team is to show that I don't have Salah in my team. Right? That's the biggest focus right here. Karn has Salah. I'm still choosing to go without Salah for at least another week. Grealish's fixtures: Burnley, Southampton, West Ham, Arsenal, Brighton, Leicester, Leeds, Wolves, Newcastle, Sheffield, Fulham. My eyes light up when I look at that fixture run. I think Aston will
yeah,
have one of the better runs. Yes, some of these will change. There'll be blanks coming in with the FA Cup fifth round and the other teams going forward. Still going to be a blank week and another double game week coming up, making it all the more enticing, right? So if you're looking to go completely out of City, I think Grealish, if you don't have him, is a good option at 7.7. No injury update on him so far. So I think the move that he was taken off a little early against Castle was just to rest him. Outside of that, yes, you have then the likes of Zaha, right? He was injured in the last game. 7.3. Why Zaha? They play West Ham, then they have Wolves, Newcastle, Leeds, Burnley, Brighton, Fulham. Again, not a team you should consider in terms of defense. At least I think Mitchell, if he's in your team, leave him there. But Zaha could again be a good player for you to have because he's ideally going to get those goals, right? Karn is under 15% owned, could get you in that
yeah.
bracket. Apart from that, let's say if I've gone in for a Cresswell, right, a Grealish, sorry, I have 4.3 in my bank. I can choose to take a -4 because Wilson has just been disappointing, right? Even though they have Leeds, Everton, Palace, Southampton. Good fixture run again, not the worst, but not convincing enough. Maybe I'll keep him on for one more week. If I keep in a like of Grealish, I have 4.3 in my bank. Next week, I'll either work myself towards Salah after the Tottenham fixture, or again, not too convinced about this because they play Liverpool, but then they have Aston Villa, Fulham, Sheffield. A good three fixtures coming for West Ham. Antonio, better and fitter by then, definitely worth a shout out as well.
Yeah.
Triple West Ham is what's bothering me, and I'm not going to bother taking out Suchek to get in Saka for a week. I don't want to get into that maybe this week,
Yeah.
but that's what it looks like right now. Either going down to Sterling, straight swap, triple city. Grealish is my second option. Not Rashford. I'm a little worried about, even though if United have good fixtures, Sheffield, Arsenal, Southampton, Everton, West Brom, Newcastle. I just don't know whether Rashford should start every game, but we have a couple of tough games coming up. Arsenal on the weekend. So that's what it is
Plus
like.
fitness concern.
Yeah. And Kern, just before I close my team, is there merit then to go for a triple up on City defense? Cancelo in there for the likes of Cresswell for managers? A double has worked beautifully for a lot of managers in the last few weeks, especially the free hit teams as
My
well.
only problem, my only problem with the triple city defense is you don't have an attacker then. And City are the team you want to get an attacker with. And then 3 game weeks down the line, when you have the likes of Liverpool, Tottenham, and Arsenal back to back, you're sitting with 3 City defenders, which still might not be a very bad thing, but your entire team is then based around that. It's not like they're cheap, all of them. Stones is a good price point, but then you're sort of really putting all your eggs in one basket. And if you are going to do that, I would rather have a little slightly more attacking outlook, especially with City and the fixtures are coming up. Their defense is great. We keep saying City attack, attack. Their defense is great, and those points coming from there are immense. But triple up, while I see the merit in it, it just means that you don't have a City attacking asset. And I think someone like a Sterling now with no Aguero, with no KDB, I think he has to step up. He'll have the onus to. I think he's going to play all these games. Uh, that's the only reason why I don't see a City triple up. And then moving them around later will just be too complicated. Unless you're planning to do a wild card, then for sure, go tilt.
Yeah, all right. I think I pretty much agree with you there myself. I think now's the time where the managers fear that without KDB, who's the creative spark there, right? Uh, there is merit, like you said, Gundogan, Sterling are good picks. It's all not lost, and I think the three fixtures that they come up, they have you can risk it. It's not really a risk itself. It's a good run for them. Okay, so ideally, this is what the team would look like for me. We'll now move into the teams we've covered right now and see who has a better fixture run coming up, who we think are good picks, right? Uh, Kern, let's start off with the team we spoke about for your team. We didn't really cover it right now with me. Maddison, Barnes, right? Leicester City. Justin has paid dividends against a lot of managers. His prices on the rise seems undroppable. Everton away, Leeds home, Fulham away, Wolves away. Liverpool, Aston Villa, Arsenal, Brighton, Sheffield. Good run. Yes, nobody. Iheanacho doesn't really step up. But with the kind of form Madison is, that would probably mean Madison finds himself more in the box taking shots. So Leicester assets worth considering outside of Grealish and Zaha.
Yeah, Leicester is the one tricky team. Again, when I said I need to change my team, it's also because I have no Leicester assets right now. And I think that's a big thing that's missing in my team right now. Uh, Rogers has said in his press conference already that he's expecting IOZ Perez to fill that slot. Right now, he said he's happy with the way he moves in the absence of Vardy and stuff like that. And so that might be an interesting pick. If you want to even go away from Maddison and Barnes, then you have the likes of IOZ Perez. Right there, as you said, Justin has been a great pick for managers as well, right? So I think Leicester options are there. For me, the standout pick is Maddison. Yes, Harvey Barnes has better underlying stats in terms of shots in the box and big chances created and things like that. But in the end, you're not getting points for underlying stats. You're getting points for the goals that are scored. And Maddison is just seeming to get more of those than Barnes right now. So I think Maddison is the one. Plus, obviously, set pieces and all of that helps as well. So Maddison, a good pick for me. And Justin, if you're looking for a defensive option, a good one. In fact, that might be one that I get in for DR, if not a Burnley asset. I'll just revisit that during the next game week. But I have an eye on.
All right. Then quickly we'll move on to Aston Villa. We spoke about Jack Grealish. Martinez, ideally, if you don't have him as a keeper, if you're wildcarding in soon, definitely looks like, irrespective of even fixture, he's making a good ton of saves, right? I mean, Nick Pope is obviously caught up, like we spoke about a couple of episodes back. He's reigned supreme. He's come back and kind of taken his spot. But Grealish, we've discussed the merit. They had a very big COVID scare, right? They did. But they seem to have come out of it with pretty much their starting 11 fit, right? So, what about the likes of Watkins, Grealish, and even looking at Targett now? He looks to be a different player in the last couple of game weeks. Great eye-watering price point as well, starting at about 4.5, right?
Yeah, Target is a standout pick for me there. I
4.7,
think,
sorry, yeah.
yeah, a lot of the FPL community who have had him have had a great couple of weeks. Twitter has been full with them sort of celebrating uh, having Target in their team. So Target's a good pick for me, especially with some injuries there in defense of Villa here and there, some niggles. I think Target's got like a clean run in that sense now, right? So Target, I think, is a good pick. Grealish, my only concern is now that Barkley's back. I'm not quite sure. We saw earlier when Barkley was trying to get those shots that Grealish would get, and then El Ghazi
Yes.
sort of took that over. And you can't even rely on El Ghazi right now because you see as soon as Barkley's back, El Ghazi was shipped to the
On the
bench.
bench, yeah.
Uh, so right now, just because of that confusion with who's starting, where are they playing, what's happening, is why I have some confusion. But as soon as that's sorted, one of those attacking Villa assets will be good to have because they obviously now have a couple of extra double game weeks coming up, right? So uh, once that is sorted, I'll be a little more confident, but an eye out for Aston Villa assets for sure. And I already said I need to figure out how to bring Martinez into my team.
Yeah, I think getting like the likes of Target in, maybe if you want to move on the likes of Cresswell out, good workout for you looking at the fixtures, how they turn after Fulham for West Ham. You could consider that move according to me because then they would have Tottenham, City, Leeds, United, Arsenal, Wolves, Leicester. Not a fun run of fixtures for West Ham after game week 24. So you could look at that
Even if you want to
replacement.
move on Kyle Walker-Peters, right? Even if you want to move on Kyle Walker-Peters,
Sure,
who's
yeah,
apparently going to miss this match. He's been confirmed by the manager that he's going to miss this match. Not given as many returns as managers would hope. That's another move. So you have some of those players who you're wondering what do I do with them. Lamptey is still not fit, and he's a frustrating player to own. I said this earlier, and I told people, yes, Lamptey is great, but he's a frustrating player to own, and I
frustrating.
think he's proven that for people who's had him. So in that bracket, I think he's a great pick, and as you were saying.
Okay, let's move on to Chelsea. Right, Kern, we were talking about this before we started this recording. It feels like we've gone back to kind of the start of the season, right? KDB missing a few games. Chelsea assets are being considered again. Unfortunately, Frank Lampard was sacked from his job, right? But if you're looking at this from an FPL
Unfortunately.
aspect, I'm trying to be non-biased here. So, we have now that option where your Warners, ZH, that they're finally fit and playing together would look to be a little, proving a point of sorts, right? So they have Wolves home, Burnley home, KG games, not the best games, but looking at the side Chelsea had, you could see them getting past them. Tottenham is a stickler there, but then Sheffield, Newcastle, Southampton, decent run of games for me. Obviously, Chilwell is someone managers have. Wouldn't say go in for Chilwell specifically for this weekend. City defenders would be the one to go for if you still don't have them, right? What about the likes of Havertz and Pulisic? We discussed it earlier, right? And then Timo Werner. Is it time to start punting now? Like get make those points now. Maybe they'll do well under a new manager, or hold,
So
just
that's
hold.
definitely there. So that's definitely there on, as soon as a new manager comes in, the team will perform for like at least 2 or 3 weeks. If there's deeper lying problems, they probably come back. But I think the first couple of weeks, first couple of games, players are a little more motivated, they're a little happier. They sort of do that bit more. Things suddenly start falling into place. But my only problem is team selection. Is Tuchel going to come in and just sort of keep changing things around, find
Yeah.
his best 11, be like, he's supposed to be he's really strict, right? And he's sort of a scary persona. I don't think he's just going to come in there and just hand out positions. And Chelsea have a deep squad, especially in the attacking assets, right? So Abraham scored a hat trick. How do you drop him after that, right? So uh, does Warner straight away come back and take the slot instead of Abraham? We don't know. Ideally, you would think not. Who of
You never
Mount,
know because Pulisic,
Rich,
we're saying this with
CH,
us.
Havertz,
I
who
don't know.
starts?
Gone fifth time this season. Pulisic finally fit. If he's fit, he's on the left. He's on the left. Werner ideally will be center forward where he prefers. Havertz will be behind him where he prefers. Ziyech when fit on the right where he prefers. Ideally, you don't
But
see
where do you put
why.
Mount then?
That's
Where do
where
you
we
put
go. I
Mason Mount
think
and Tammy
Mason.
Abraham?
I think Mason Mount and Tammy Abraham ideally should be on the bench then. I mean, I know they've been playing well, but
This is exactly the point, right? That we don't know who's going to
which
start.
is why a hold
Absolutely no clue who's going to
is
start. So why do you invest that much? Why do you
is
invest that much in their assets
a
yet?
punt to climb up if you had a very bad bench boost or very bad free hit and you don't know
Yeah.
how to make up. These are the players, unfortunately, you could look at. Before we move
I think
on to
there's still
our
a lot better options. If you're looking, say, midfield, we've discussed like some Maddison that are there, Zaha that's there, Grealish is there.
yeah,
Forwards, I think there's a lot better options. If anything, if you're looking for a replacement for Vardy and you want to take that punt with Werner, if anything, that would be the one I'd say, why not? Right? Because a manager will still want someone like Werner to deliver, whether he starts, doesn't start, I don't know. But if you're saying punt, then that would be my punt because other positions, there's a lot better options.
all right, fair enough. Before we move on to our captain and differential picks, just you can have a few closing words on Spurs and United, right? Spurs, saying it again, they seem to be Son. So Son, like Kern mentioned earlier, is finally kind of catching up with his XG, right? Which he was outscoring. I think the number of he could have easily had 3 goals or 4 goals in the last 2 games himself, but he's
Yeah.
came up against a good keeper and had a few poor shots. Another day you would have seen him finishing
Yeah.
those. Kane should be in your team. Yes, it's Liverpool, but looking at the way Liverpool are now with the centre backs injured, so with Henderson half fit, right? Liverpool could be there for the taking, even if he plays centre back, right? There is hope. It depends on what kind of mindset or mood Mourinho comes with. They have Brighton, Chelsea, West Brom, City, West Ham, Burnley, Palace, Arsenal. Uh, Not a clearest run, but I don't see myself taking Kane out or Son out. And if, like you said, if you're considering Spurs assets right now, Kane definitely seems to be standing out a little bit more because he seems to be finally catching up and hitting his stride and getting in more, as many goals as his assists that he's given start of the season, right? He's on 12 goals and 11 assists. What a season he's having, genuinely. Kern,
Yeah.
closing
And if
comments.
you see the Liverpool problems, sorry, if you see the Liverpool problems that they had against United in the FA Cup was the high line. Uh, United were finding space behind the centre backs far too easily, and that is the kind of game that Kane and Son love. Like that's just set up for them. That's exactly how they want to play. They want Liverpool to keep pressing up high, lose the ball, get him behind the centre backs who just can't find their feet right now. So I think, yes, Liverpool are a tough cookie, but it's been breached recently. I think they could be there for the taking. Definitely not taking out Kane Son if you have them.
And
Hopefully they can deliver the points
but
as
if
well.
you have Salah, you hold Salah, right? I mean, you don't take out
Yeah.
Salah either. He's scored two against
No.
United, blank 5 game weeks before that. Albeit two easy goals by his standards, even poor defensive errors right there, making the
Yeah.
keeper in the second one. But yes, if you have the likes of Salah, I would still say
It's not
keep.
like you're going Salah to KDB, right?
Exactly.
So
A Salah to Grealish, like that's the reason why we did the setup we did today, right? A team which had Salah, which Karn does, and one without, which I don't. If I'm not going for a Salah, that's what we showed you. Um, yeah, but I would hold, if you don't have Salah. That's a big risk I'm taking, right? Still not keeping him. Do I see myself panicking getting Salah in last minute? Yes, I could see myself doing that, even though that means that Salah, Son, Kane, all in all in the same fixture. I could see myself doing that. It's not 100% ruled out, but lesser odds as of now. Kern, Leeds assets. I'll just make a statement. If you agree, you can go. If you disagree, fine. I would say hold Bamford. No point taking him out yet. He's 50% owned almost. Newcastle, Leicester, Everton, Palace, Arsenal, Wolves, Aston Villa, West Ham. Not the worst fixtures. They don't seem to change the style of play come whatever weather, players or not. They seem to have a style of play. Whether that's good or bad, we can't say for sure. Maybe for a Dallas owner as well, maybe that bothers you. But I would say hold them for another game week or two, unless you're wild carding. Then you look at the likes of Targett in for Dallas, right? Hold, I would say.
yeah, hold for this week. Bamford on thin ice though. If Leeds continue, then Antonio, as you said, is starting to look sharp, ready to take his place.
100% Antonio seems to be on both our radars. Someone we both almost got but didn't and had faith with Wilson, and Wilson did not deliver. That's all I'll say about that. Moving on now to our differential picks, Kern, and I'm going to keep it very simple. We didn't speak much about United in our episode because, like I said, for me, I think Cavani at 7.8 rotation risk, yes, but great differential at 3.8 right now. Sheffield, Arsenal, Southampton, Everton, West Brom, Newcastle. Good run of fixtures coming up. He changes the way United play, the kind of effort he puts in, kind of helps the team. The worry is that is he dropping too deep sometimes? Maybe, but he's worth a punt for me. So he's my differential.
Yeah, that's a good one. And I think he starts with Rashford also. Not sure with his injury right now. I think it's safe to see Cavani start now. My differential is IOZ Perez. Supposed to be starting with Vardy is 0.7% owned. Why not? It's a differential for a reason.
All right. Captain picks. I like I showed you in my team, right? I think Sheffield is not going to be an easy game. They are putting up more of a fight now because it's squeaky bum time for them, right? They need to get a result every game. But I still think Bruno Fernandes got decent rest again against Fulham, right? Arsenal on the weekend, but I think Bruno is a safe captain pick for me. I don't think I'm going to look beyond that. I'm not too tempted, right? Even if I had get in the likes of Grealish playing against Palace, maybe that would be a differential captain for me. But I think it's Bruno number one.
Yeah, Bruno number one, Sterling number two for me.
Right, that is for the ones who make the Sterling move. Obviously, that'll be interesting though. If I do get in Sterling instead of Grealish, would I look at Sterling over Bruno? I don't think so. I still might not. I think I still stick with Bruno. Let's see how that one works out. But anyway, thank you so much everyone for joining us for this episode. We'll be coming up with a lot more FPL episodes in the coming week because we have back-to-back game weeks, right? All the way to middle of Feb. We'll also be coming out with a lot more other general videos about the Premier League. We hope you tune into those as well. Don't forget to hit subscribe on our channel if you already haven't. We've crossed 500 and thank you so much for that. Leave a like on this video. Follow us on our Instagram, personal and football pundits, as well as our Twitter accounts. We hope you have a good game week. We hope your punts work out for you. If you need anything else, we'll be happy to talk to you in our comment section. Best of luck for this game week.
Best of luck, guys.